How to profit from 0% credit cards. Earn interest, don't pay it. What is a 0% card? A 0% card is one that charges no interest for a certain period of time. You've likely received an offer in the mail or seen ads online for these cards. You can search online to find them. It could be just for new purchases, or it could be for balance transfers, or even both. Don't confuse this with an offer for a promotional rate, which is really just a lower interest rate. 0% does not mean that you don't have to make any payments. Always pay at least the minimum payment and on time. So how long does it last? A 0% card will only be so for a limited time when you first get it. This could be anywhere from 12 to 24 months. After that, it reverts to a regular card. Keep track of when the 0% period ends. It will be mentioned on the statement. There should be a section that looks like this. Find the line with the 0%. Here we can see that the 0% rate expires on March 8th. That's a little sneaky as the due date for this card is on the 21st. Make sure to switch from minimum payment to statement balance before the last due date that is in this period, February 21st in my case, and that it applies to that payment. If you are unsure, you can always make a manual payment. It is very important to keep track of these things, so if you need to, set a reminder on your phone. The expiration date should be mentioned. If it is not, call them and ask for it. Using it for purchases. The overall plan. Use the card. Instead of paying off the card like you normally would, keep the money in an interest-bearing account like a high-yield savings account. Make the minimum payment only during the 0% period. In the final period, switch to paying off the statement balance. Don't just keep the money in a normal account that does not pay you any interest. Only make purchases that you would normally make. Remember, anything you use the card for, you'll have to pay for. Do not rack up charges that would be a burden to pay off. The goal is to pay yourself instead of paying off the credit card. When the time comes to pay it off, move the money back from the high yield account to the account that you paid the card from. Allow enough time for the money to be transferred so that it's there when you have to make the payment. So how much can I make? Let's say you get a 21-month 0% card and that you spend $500 a month. Let's say the minimum payment is 1% or $40, whichever is higher. It's common. So for balances of less than $4,000, the minimum payment will be $40. And that you put the remainder of $500 after making the minimum payment in an account that pays 4%. After 20 months, your card will have a balance of $8,886, and you should have $9,179.56 or so in your savings account for a profit of $293 and stub after paying off the card. That's almost 2/3 of the monthly spend. You can also make a bigger purchase in the beginning if you need to, and then make monthly payments to yourself to build up the cash to pay off the card. The more money you can put in the savings account sooner, the more interest you will make. Even if you already have the cash to buy whatever it is, you're better off buying it with the 0% card and keeping the cash as long as possible to earn interest. Just remember that that money is already spent. Of course, you have to be mindful of the card limit. Even if you stop adding charges to the card, you can keep the allocated money in the savings account, earning interest until the end. Balance transfers. Balance transfers, even for 0% card, often charge a fee for the transfer. It used to be possible to avoid the fee, but I've not seen that in a long time. Hopefully you're not carrying any balances, but if you are, and you can pay it off in the 0% period, then this can help save you money. You do want to avoid multiple transfers that can each cost 5% of the balance. It could be some other percentage, but it's going to cost you something. You might think that transferring from one 0% card to another might be a good idea, but that transfer fee can really eat into any savings. Let's look at statement balance versus account balance. If you look at your credit card balance at any given time, you'll see two numbers, last statement balance and account balance. This applies to all credit cards, not just 0% cards. Last statement balance is the amount you must pay to avoid paying interest. If this is a 0% card, though, remember just to make the minimum payment. Account balance is simply the total owed. It is often higher than the last statement balance, and this is because of the billing period cycle. Here's an example. The statement balance is $1,471.54, but the total balance is $1,895.60. You only have to pay the statement balance to avoid paying interest. The rest can wait until the next billing cycle. Every statement has a billing cycle and a due date. The due date can be several weeks after the end of the billing cycle. In this example, the billing cycle is from December 20th to January 19th. Anything charged in that period has to be paid by February 13th. This means that something charged on January 20th won't be due until March 13th, a whole extra month, which will be the next payment due date. Whenever possible, keep as much of your money where it earns interest for you. Even a normal credit card gives you a free loan for a month or two. There is no reason to pay a credit card before you have to. My advice for normal cards is to use the AutoPay feature and pay off the statement balance on the due date. Don't be afraid of having a balance on the card. As long as you're paying the statement balances, you won't be charged anything. Remember to stay disciplined with your spending and keep track of everything. Thanks for listening, and start saving.